Okay, class. The question for today is, what does the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Evan McPherson, the field goal kicker for the Cincinnati Bengals, and this special Shabbos have in common? This Shabbos is Shabbos Parshat Shekalim, the first of four special Shabbatot that come before Pesach. In the special reading for today, we read about how the Jews were going to have a census taken, and the census had to be taken by way of giving a half shekel. Every Jew gave a half shekel, then we counted the Shekalim, and then we knew how many people were in the census. Question is obvious: why count coins? Wouldn't it have been simpler to count heads? And the classic biblical commentator Rashi explains the reason very simply. He tells us the Israelites of those days believed that to count heads was bad luck. The Torah says, "V'lo yeh behem negef." Do not count the children of Israel physically, so that a plague will not descend upon them. And Rashi adds, "Sha'minyan sholeit bo ayin hara." Counting causes the evil eye to assume control. And you should know that this practice of not counting heads has continued in Jewish tradition to this very day. You may recall your parents or grandparents, they never counted in a normal fashion. Even in shul to this day, when we count for a minyan, we might say Hoshia Esamecha, counting the 10 words in that verse, or what our grandparents used to say, nicht eins, nicht zwei, not one, not two. And in this way, they believed that they could confuse the evil eye. Jewish tradition and folklore provides us with many antidotes to the power of the evil eye. One popular tradition tells us that red protects us from the evil eye. Still another says to avert the evil eye, you should spit 3 times on your fingertips and each time make a quick movement in the air with your hand. That's very popular these days. Or we're told that when a husband gives the evil eye to his wife, she should open her hand and say, chamesh, meaning 5, and the evil eye will be removed. And you should know that this is the basis for the popularity in Israel of the 5-fingered chamsa. And then we're told that to counteract the evil eye on your children, put garlic in their ear. I guess that will keep the evil eye away, and everybody else as well. All sorts of antidotes for the evil eye, some ridiculous, some commonly accepted. The question is, do we Jews really believe in the power of an evil eye? Well, Rashi did, but Maimonides, the great Jewish thinker and legalist, did not. So what's the story on the evil eye? Yes or no? The greatest halachic authority of our generation provides us with a fascinating answer to this question. In his book of Responsa, Reb Moshe Feinstein of blessed memory, when asked by one of his students whether there's such a thing as the power of an evil eye, responded, one who does not care about these things, they have no influence on him. In other words, if you believe the evil eye has power, then it does, and you must fear it. If you believe the evil eye has no power, then it doesn't, and you need not fear it. What Reb Moshe Feinstein is teaching us is not only a lesson in Jewish law, but a lesson in human nature and psychology. It's the lesson of what is referred to as the self-fulfilling prophecy. If you're obsessed with something, or with a fear of something, it's that very something that somehow eventually catches up with you. It can't really be explained, whether it's the evil eye or whatever. There are self-fulfilling prophecies. That which you fear, if you fear it enough, may ultimately get you. And that explains a story with the Lubavitcher Rebbe. The Lubavitcher Rebbe was once approached by a group from Israel. They wanted his support for the building of a hospital, which in Hebrew is referred to as a Beit Cholim, which literally means a house of the sick. And the Rebbe said to them, better you should be calling it a Beit Refuah, a house of healing. That's what a hospital should be. Not a place for the sick, but a place to be healed. That's the way you've got to think. I thought of this before this Super Bowl when I read an article about the Cincinnati Bengals rookie field goal kicker, who was an absolute sensation this year. In the playoffs, he set a record. I think he kicked 12 field goals safely. And everybody's wonder how so young, what's the key to his success? And listen to his words. I feel like if you're confident you're going to go out there and hit the kick, there's a better chance than if you walk out there and you're like, hopefully I play the wind right, or hopefully I put a good kick on it. You really got to walk out there and know in your mind, there's really no way you can miss the kick. Good lesson in life. Shabbat Shalom.